Welcome back to Briggs on Books. We've been talking to authors today from all over the world about their book and their process and how they got from starting to writing to finish writing to getting it published and getting it out there. So many of our viewers are just so close to getting there. So I love it when guests come on who've actually done it, who started writing and finished writing and got published. Our next guest hasn't done it just one time, but at least two times. Theresa Gage, welcome.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, my pleasure. Tell our viewers where you're located.
I live in Auburn, Washington.
Is that where
south of Seattle?
Is that where it snows?
It doesn't snow here.
Okay.
Not usually. We got a good view of Mount Rainier, though.
Oh, I bet it's beautiful right now.
Yes.
By the way, Theresa Gage, you are, would you call yourself a young adult writer? Young adult fantasy writer.
Right.
And I have here's your first book cover, or the first of this series, Tangle with Fire.
Right.
And it is written for young adults, is that right?
Yes.
And what do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Well, it's a epic fantasy with some sci-fi elements in it. And Aiden loves to play pranks and tell fibs because his eldest brother likes to bully him around. And then one day he witnesses his father being murdered by a mysterious man, and then the man subsequently vanishes. And from this sudden turn, magic manifests in him. And so he learns he has to push aside his impulsive nature and take on responsibility in order to protect his family and the kingdom from a powerful sorcerer.
Now, life's already tough for a 15-year-old, but he sees his father murdered, and now all of a sudden he has some magical ability that he's going through a lot in this book.
I'm sorry, you were cutting out.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, already a teenager. He's already going through enough grief in his life, but he sees his father gets murdered, and he has to deal with, all of a sudden he has some sort of powers or extra ability.
Right.
That's a lot for a young man. Now, let me ask you this. When did the first book come out?
Last year in August.
That's August.
End of August. Right.
And then the second one's out already. Is that right? Scorched?
Yeah, that's because my my publicist was pushing for it to be done by Christmas.
Okay.
And luckily I'd been working on it with my critique group, so I was able to get it out.
You were able to get it out, yeah. That's amazing. 2 books out in that short a time. Now, can we read them out of order, or is it better to go in order?
I think it'd be better to go in order, but you can read the second one first.
Yeah, if somebody picks it up out of order, they're not going to be too spoiled.
Right.
Now, what kind of, did you create a realm, or are they just here on Earth in America, or something like that?
No, I created a realm.
Yeah, that's always fun for fantasy.
Yeah.
And where is it? What can you tell us about the realm?
It's on planet Xan, and they live in the Azure Kingdom.
So it's you're not going to have any recognizable places like London or something in there.
No.
Now, who should? I must admit to you, I love to read young adult books. Maybe it's just my reading level that they're easier for me to read or something. I don't know, but I read a lot of them. But who should read this? Who could read it?
Anyone who loves fantasy would enjoy it. I've had a lot of good reviews from adults, so yeah.
I mean, is there anything in there that would maybe too young of people shouldn't read it?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Yeah. So it's for the whole family, perhaps.
Right.
Yeah. I like to get books, and I always say to our viewers, don't just go order one of these books. Order a couple of them. Give them away to your friends, and everybody could be reading the same book at the same time. That's a lot of fun, too.
Right.
Theresa, I have your web address on the screen. Theresa Z.A. Gage, Theresa Gage. What will people find there?
Well, I'm a web designer working on that, so it's not quite finished yet.
Okay.
It will be sometime this week. For one thing, there's so many Gages out there that I had to distinguish myself from everyone else. And my dad used to call me Za all the time, so I just put that in the website.
Za as in Theresa.
Right.
I think it's very it's how we found you, by the way, because it was kind of unusual. And we said, we've got to get her on the show. Now, we have your Instagram there, YA Fantasy. It's an
Right.
RTR. I can't see it from here. Number
Yes.
2. Anyway, it's on the screen, so that'd be another place to find you and find things out about you.
Right.
Now, what happens now? Are these your first 2 books, by the way?
Yes. I've had a lot of short stories published through magazines, especially the Art Accent magazine. It's a magazine out of Canada.
And where do you go from here? Is the next book churning in your mind, or is it partially on paper?
I'm actually editing the 3rd book, and I'm working on the 4th one.
Now, and are those in the same series?
Yes.
Which characters will we see in all 4 books?
Aiden.
Aiden.
He's in all of them.
For
Yes.
sure, Aiden. Okay, he's
Yes.
okay. Does he do some growing up through the 4 books?
Oh, yes, yes.
Now, I want to ask you this, partly for me and partly for many of our viewers, but how do you do this? Are you very disciplined at sitting down at one time a day and writing?
I try to write in the morning. I get some chores done first, and then I start writing. I retired from nursing a few years ago, so it gives me a little more time.
And you sit down at a computer? Is that how you do it, or a notepad?
Oh, laptop.
Now, do you, is it all composing as you're typing, or do you write it in your head and develop it in your head and then put it on paper?
Well, I'm kind of a pantser, so I kind of write some notes down, and then I start writing on the computer, and then I go back to it and try to make an outline.
Make it, clean it up a bit, I guess. Yeah,
Right.
Amazing. Fantasy writers amaze me because, I mean, you've created a whole realm, a whole planet, a whole universe, so to speak, and you have to keep it all organized and in order, and I don't know how you do it. I think fantasy writers have the best minds because they're so creative. Theresa, we're running out of time. What else do you want? Is there anything else you want our viewers to know?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I
I
guess.
could tell you what transpired me to write
Oh yeah, I'd love to
the
hear that.
first book.
I love these stories.
Well, as I was growing up, I was the eldest, and my brother was the middle child, and he was the one who always told fibs and got away with so many things, and then I had to be the responsible one. So I got that idea into my story, and then I started thinking about the old fable, Cry Wolf. So
Amazing.
just working on those ideas, this idea merged.
Right, that idea came out. Your brother, the fibber.
Yeah.
Is his name Adrian, by the way?
No.
That would be fun if it was. Anyway, well, thank you, Theresa. I'm inspired by you and what you've done. You've got it done, and like I say, so many of our viewers are just almost there. They just got to get across the finish line, and I'm glad you're there as a great example to all of us, for somebody who actually did it. Now, by the way, I know we're over time. I'm getting the signal, but from your first book, did the second one come easier, and was the process smoother getting it published?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. And now the 3rd and 4th are just going to fly out the door, no doubt about it.
Right.
All right, Theresa, it's a joy talking to you. I really appreciate your time and
Thank you.
and your creativity.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back with more Briggs on Books right after this. Thanks,
Okay,
Theresa.
Thank you.